Good evening and welcome to another video of my Star Wars Armada miniatures from Mel's Shapeway. Now, I've done a lot since my last video. To start off with, I have fully pretty much painted out both my C-ROC Gozanti cruisers. You can see, if I bring it up close to the screen, that I've painted out the cargo pods that are on each side. I've done the main yellow section and all the greens on one and gone with a pretty bony grey coloration for the other one. So I've coloured all the underside using as much of the YouTube clips that I have from the Star Wars Rebels TV series. The only thing I have to do for this one now is to use a shade, either this green Corellia green shade or this Beltan green shade, just to give it a little bit of a gloss green look in the yellows, and that will be about it. What I've also done, you'll recognize this section right here. It's nice white. What I've now gone back and done is I've done some of the linings in a darker, initially a wash. Had a little bit of problems with it because obviously when I sat it up, the wash ran down, so I had to lay it down flat while the wash dried, sort of thing. So I've done all the fins. Now I just have to do a little bit of wash along here. And for that, I'll be using null oil and watering it down with my water brush. So obviously the thing is I don't want it too heavy. I don't want it too thick or anything. And I'm going to have to do it lying down pretty much because I don't want it to all just run to one side. So obviously I'm going to do it fairly lightly using a piece of paper or something rather to get rid of some of that excess oil null wash. And all I want to do is just a little bit of that sort of thing, just pick up some of those characteristic shadows. Now, obviously, using only small amounts of the wash means that I have to dip it back in to the ink mixture quite often. And like some people will say, just do a heavy coat and then over it with a dry brush of that same bone color. It works. I did it on the other side here. In this area right here, I did a normal wash, then I went over it highlighted with the bone again. Didn't quite all come through, but you can see that some of it did and it went well. Other sections, you might be able to catch it. This section right here, if I bring the light closer, you'll see that the wash flowed down and there's like a pure white section up the top. So I'll be going over that one a little bit later on as well, giving it a bit of a crisper, cleaner look. But I'll be doing that less once probably this side is dry. And like using washes at this stage, it picks up a lot more of the detail, but I do find on occasion, if need be, that it feels as though it's getting a little bit too thick in section there. I usually take a little bit of a dry brush, not a dry brush system, but more of a non-wet brush, just to soak up some of that ink from certain areas to take it away. Just like so. Now, I don't mind if the null wash also gets onto some of these sections, because like a lot of it is gantry and it actually looks more three-dimensional, having a bit more darker sections throughout the ship for the actual model itself. Obviously, depending on the color that you put on initially, whether it be a bone, whether it be a pure white, or even a color, the washes will mess it up a little bit, depending on how thick you apply it. So that's all I'm planning on doing with these ones. A very light wash, just to pick up some of the highlights. And then letting it go. Anyway, that's that one. I'll leave that to dry. Now, the green. That one's a little bit darker, I think, so I might go with this light green. Yeah, water it down a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Then all I just have to do is just see, and it's just giving a faint hint of green to it, which is nice. But the yellow is still coming through. There we go. Well, that's it for today. I'll continue this, and tomorrow I should start on my next project. Bye.